What's up, guys? Luca here. Luca Teal, yes, the Ashen one, the Ashen Lucario, the Ashen Luca. It's me. I'm here with another episode of the show. And today we will be discussing some metaphor ReFantazio, among other things as well. And I'm happy to say that the title, the game, it's doing well financially and doing well in regards to review score, so I'm happy for Atlas on that one. But yeah, before we get into that, we're gonna go ahead and do the intros. Go ahead, Slow-Mo.
Yo, what's up? Slow mo backslap. That's about
Alright.
it.
And Singer.
Yo, what up? It's me.
All right, man. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So if you could share your screen for me, Singer, that'd be great. We could talk about the greatness that is Metaphor ReFantazio. So, did we talk about this last week? Did we talk about playing it?
We did talk about it. We talked about the demo.
The demo.
Yeah,
Okay, so as I played the demo last week, I decided to hold out on buying the title because I don't want to be RPG'd out for when Dragon Age comes out, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, everybody's making me feel like, I'm feeling that I'm feeling that what is it called when you feel left out and you want to take part in
Bro,
something?
FOMO?
Yeah, I'm feeling a
Yeah.
little FOMO. Everybody's like, this is heat, this is fire, it's amazing. I kind of want to be a part of that conversation too, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I may change my mind and end up picking it up, but we'll have to see as the days go on. It'd be a great way to spend my weekend, that's for sure. But yeah. Let's share my screen. Okay, so the score for Metaphor is 93 universal acclaim. So this based on 37 critic reviews. And based on 99 user reviews, it is a 8.4. So generally speaking, the game's doing very, very well. So if you guys want to go ahead and give your perspectives on it, go ahead. Singer, you can go.
All right. So the one with this review was actually really, really good. And I agree with a lot of points. It didn't revolutionize what Persona is. It's still, it clearly retains that persona-ness to it with the archetypes and the combat, and you know where you're going generally with it. But it feels like they've gone a completely different direction and it works. Like this high fantasy world, there's none of this school stuff, there's none of this romance, which I actually don't mind. I initially hated it, but when they explained why, Hashino, who directed it, as he said, it's like Persona is about teenagers in high school, and of course teenagers all about romance and all that kind of thing, whereas Metaphor is you're trying to be ruler of a kingdom. You're not really gonna have time for doing all these romance things on your way to becoming the ruler of a kingdom. So I understand it, and it's a bit of a departure, but the social bonds are still there, so you still get to do bonds, you just don't get the romance. The archetypes are cool as well, being able to customize your party exactly how you want it. So that is another crucial thing, because with the personas, obviously, they have apart from you, everyone else has a locked persona. Well, now you can change to whoever you want to be whatever you want. I still haven't explored it fully. I mean, I'm only really short into the game, right? So it's hard to get further. So I don't know what else is lying there. The graphics are great. The music hits. The characters are all right. Still have to mingle with them more to see if I actually really get jiggy with a lot of the characters. But overall, it is it feels refreshing. Instead of playing another Persona game, it just feels refreshing, like something different. And I'm so happy they got all the critical acclaim and sales for it, because it's a really, really good game. That's my rough overview right now.
All right. And what's up, Ramon? Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right.
I was early, but I'm late because I'm so used to Discord that I was sitting in Discord. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. The link is StreamYard. So
Well, thanks for coming through, bro. All right. Oh wow, Singer, you already had yours. Okay, Slow-Mo, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I like you. I wasn't going to get this at launch initially, but after playing the demo and then like for the week after I finished the demo, I just kept thinking about the game. And it's just like, you know what? I think I'm just going to go ahead and get it at launch. And maybe I'll get close to the end before Dragon Age comes out. Who knows? But um, like the demo and like the my thoughts on it last week. I'm still really enjoying it. Um, I something else that I thought is pretty interesting about it, and that's different, is that when you're, you know how like in Persona, like you'll hide behind corners and then you'll wait for like enemies to kind of turn their back, and you can kind of like, you know, basically ambush them, rip their mask off. That's how you get into a fight. And Metaphor, they created an entire like system around that where you can now dodge roll out of the way of enemies attacking you. You can attack them, and if they're weak enough, you can just straight up kill them and get experience and more mag and more, you know, money just off of like basically almost like an action RPG mechanic, which I thought was pretty cool. And depending on your protagonist's class will determine the weapon that they're using. And in those segments, so like that could be really important, and how how you swing those weapons is different for every single one of them. So you gotta be aware of that before you start messing around. But you know, that whole system, it's like an evolution of the tried and true game design they've been kind of relying on for so long. So it's good to see that like they are kind of advancing their craft in so many different ways, and it's definitely working out for them because clearly the reviews are hot. Everyone's enjoying it. I'm at the end of the first like real boss, like the first like end boss of the first dungeon. I'm at the end, I'm near the end of that. Technically at the end of that. Um and I'm trying to figure out the best way to go about that with like the different archetypes, cuz I think I might be a little underleveled for it. So I might need to go kind of level up a little bit more, and I still have a few more days before the time is up. So I might do another day of just going around and killing stuff and then exploring more of the monastery that you're at before I take them on. But it's it's good. It's good. And I'm interested in where the story's going. Because it's definitely a little bit different for Atlas in regards to not dealing with teens or that kind of like age demographic and the kind of things they think are important. This is far more like Game of Thrones kind of dark fantasy kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool. I'm liking it.
Sweet. So, what do you guys think about the character archetype so far? Let's start
Um,
with the main character. What do you think about him and him being voiced?
I
Love
like
it.
that he's voiced, but he's still like his personality is still very much just I'm here. He's like I'm just here. I don't know what's going on. And I'm passive as hell. So, but like, I'm glad that they gave him a voice this time. But yeah, he's just blah to me.
I mean, to be fair, I think it's the fairy that makes the main character. The fairy is with, can't remember her name.
What's her name? Gallica or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, like she makes the MC, like, because the MC, yeah, I was like, oh, the MC talks, and then I was like, yeah, but is it really an MC? But I don't mind because it's a step forward, right? We have a MC that talks, so you know, let's go.
Yes, the way I felt about him, oh Lord, I can't even remember his name. So I played the demo like a week ago, right? And I really
Mhm.
enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. I think it's great. I'm really I was really impressed by a lot of aspects of it, especially the improvements that they made to combat certain elements, like having it so that there's that cat statue, like I was saying before, so you don't have to go these long stretches of being in a dungeon without that relief, because I don't have too much MP replenishment yet, so I really like that. Now, as how I feel about the main character, I feel like he's very passive. And like for me personally, I'm like, what's the point of having a voiced MC if he still doesn't have a fucking personality, Like
True.
he's still so blank, it seems. And I'm sure it's not the voice actor's fault, right? But it's just like I don't know. I just don't really feel anything from him, I guess you can say. Like it very much feels like he's reading the lines, I guess you could say. And it feels like different from like other RPGs where it's like you'll pick the dialogue and the character will speak it. It's just I don't know. I don't know what it is about how they have it framed where I just don't really feel like I'm just like, okay, maybe it's just because I'm used to Persona and I'm used to just like reading what the reply will be and just clicking it and then like having the person respond. But it's like he responds after I click it, and it's just I guess I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around it. So I
Yeah, I
don't think
mean,
too
I just wanted to say, kind of like piggyback off of what you're saying. I agree with you, but then even then, like Joker would have options for you to kind of like really give him a little edge to him sometimes. He would say some things that would be like, oh damn, okay,
Yeah, I was
like
gonna say the same thing. I feel like Joker had more of a personality.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
Luca, I
This
have
this
a
kid
serious
is
question.
Go ahead, Selma. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, go
uh,
ahead.
no. This kid's he's like multiple times, and I'm still like very early in the game, but multiple times he'll be like, what's his name, Straw will be the one that's like, yeah, we ain't dealing with this BS. Let's go get them, and then and he'll be like, right, and then the main protagonist is like, yeah, and it's just like, what just shut up, the only time you're forceful is when another character is like, hey, say something, you punk, and he's just like, oh yeah, we're gonna take you down, buddy. And it's just like, oh my god, just don't talk then, okay? Just don't say nothing. Just nod your head. I mean, and maybe that's why I have him as my healer right now, because I just put him in the back and have him heal the party, and I use Hulkenberg as the knight. I haven't changed her off of that archetype because I just keep using her. I forgot what it's called, but the ability where she aggroes all damage to her, well, most damage to her. It doesn't do all attacks. But yeah, I just keep her doing that to kind of keep the damage off of everyone else. That's pretty much his work so far. Although there have been a few times where I've needed to change it up a little bit. But just not with her because I haven't switched her to anything else.
Yeah, like I feel like he's very different from the other protagonists where I feel like he should play a passive role because he seems passive. So that makes perfect sense to me. Um and that's how I feel about him. We're going to focus on like the characters that you met in the demo so far, so there's no spoilers. So, what about what's his name? Stroll, is that his name?
Hey,
Yeah.
Luca.
Yeah,
Oh,
Stroll. Yes, go ahead.
as I was gonna say, I have a question, Phil.
Okay.
Who has more of a personality, the MC of this or Aloy?
Aloy.
Aloy.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
rough.
like
Nice try,
when
singer.
you play Horizon, you can tell when Aloy is just annoyed and she just doesn't want to deal with these people. It's just like her responses are just so like, all right, I guess you need help with this, huh? And it's just like, she just does not want to do this. But like, I mean, with this kid, it's just like there is no personality. Like, what are your motivations here outside of like
Mhm.
self-preservation? Like, what do you care about? Are you passionate about all the racism going on in the city? Do you care about who's king? Do you care about uh Louis out here just whacking people and stuff? That like, what do you care about, dude? And he's just like, I'm just here in the background. Everyone else is in the front, arguing and yelling with the enemies, and I'm just like, are we gonna fight yet? Okay, I'll fight. It's just like, dude, yeah, he's a pretty weak protagonist. Out of all their protagonists so far, I mean, he could change. Who knows, right? But out of all their protagonists, I think he's the weakest.
Yeah, I agree. All of their protagonists for the games that I've played, so that would be Persona
Yeah.
3, 4, and 5 for me. I didn't beat Persona 4, but I beat Persona 3 and Persona 5.
Wow.
So, yeah. So Stroll,
I like him. I think I'll probably he's pretty cool. He's like this guy that was raised a noble, but he's not. He doesn't have like the arrogance and conceited attitude of a noble because he was like raised in the country away from the city, and he's got like this whole revenge story thing going on for like things in his past that occurred. I like that he's a little different than their typical character like personalities that you see in a lot of their games, and usually
for
the
the best
first
friend. Yeah.
usually the best friend role is usually the goofy idiot. Like what's the guy's name in 5?
Ryuji.
Ryuji, like the goofy moron that like is always screwing up and he's pretty dumb, but he's got a big heart and you kind of respect that he's go hard for the squad, right? But this guy's like, he's not dumb and he's pretty on top of things, but he's got like this like valiant heroic like attitude about that, and he's just not gonna if something's not right or people are doing things that's just effed up to other people, he's gonna be the first one that's gonna be like, all right, we need to go handle this. And I like that. I like his personality.
He has like main character energy, I feel.
You're right. Yeah, it's like he should have been the main character,
Mhm.
but Alex is like, nah. He's like, we're gonna put them over here. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Jesus, Singer? Go ahead.
I mean, I like him. He's like the old reliable type. Like when you first meet him and he doesn't trust, oh, what's the dude's name? And he says, I'm glad his eye on you.
The captain.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fat captain is just like, you look down like, how are you a captain of any military unit and you can barely walk? But
right,
yeah.
he's clearly shady. He's clearly super shady, right? Especially when you first sign up with the shape M in the thing, and he talks to you like your shit. And it's like, dude, when I sign my name on this paper, I'm gonna bother you. And it turns out, yeah, it was a trap, and he was shady as shit. But I mean, I like Shaw. Apart from that, I mean, not too much about it because I need to explore the characters more before I give a definitive whether I like them or not.
It's less so about. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say because I like characters to simmer a bit, and then you can, get into it. 'Cause so far, I like him, but it could change. I think he's, just pretty much what someone said. Normally, it's like Ryuji. He initially got on my nerves. Absolutely hated him. But then I came around to him. So, because, the whole goofy thing ain't for me. But it's like, oh, yeah, he's actually a good dude, though. So,
yeah, I like Stroll. I liked him from the very beginning. He has very much a he reminds me of Alphen. Very much a let's do what's right.
Yeah, that's a good
actually, that is a good comparison.
Yeah, Alphen from Tales of Arise. And minus the have you read it? Fucking nonsense. I mean, it's not nonsense. He was a slave. I understand why he felt that way, but that shit got annoying after a while. I was like, all right, man,
very, very annoying. Yeah,
we get it. But yeah, he reminds me of Alphen, like in the sense it's like, okay, we have to help these people. We have to do what's right. And so I like him. I was actually surprised to see a different archetype in comparison to how Ryuji was, in comparison to how Junpei was. I cannot remember the guy from 4's name.
Me either. I'm about to pull up. I was like, I can remember their faces, and I can't remember names. So I'm about to,
So it was like a nice change of pace for them to introduce like the best friend character and it not be like a carbon copy of, I would say, a carbon copy of Junpei, because I feel like they're all, I haven't played Persona 2, but I feel like that character archetypes might have started with Junpei. If anybody wants to correct me, that's perfectly fine too. So yeah, he doesn't feel like a clone of Junpei from 3. So that's nice. And I like him. I think that he has a lot of potential to be to to have more depth as well. Because so far he's
Mhm.
like, I will do what is correct. And he does show a lot of empathy and understanding towards others, which I appreciate. Which, I mean, God, also that, right? Like, okay, whatever. He was the one who, okay, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, right? He's the one who ran up to the fucking Grius. No, it's like, yo, you just met him. Like, what is going on? You know, like more emotion than the main character. And I'm just like, all right, well,
Well, I mean, even the corpses littered all over the ground in every dungeon have more personality and more emotion than the main character. But
so yeah. So I
Damn.
like him. All right. So what about
I think the
Hokenberg?
dude from Persona 4 that's like Ryuji's Yosuke. I think that's his name.
Yusuke?
I'm terrible at names.
Yasuke?
Is it? I
Can
don't
you
think. No,
spell
it's
it?
not. Yosuke.
Oh, Yosuke.
Yosuke. Yeah, that's him. But he's literally he and the guy from 5, same character, same person. And this is different because it's like they're typically always the first person that the protagonist befriends is the the goofy best friend, whereas Stroll is he's not goofy. He's more he's more serious than they are, and he's not like an idiot. Like I think a lot of times you see it like a writing trope in games is like they'll have a character be kind of dumb and not know things that everyone in that world should automatically know, but they don't know those things because you, the player, don't know those things. So they're really kind of asking for you, but to the detriment of the character, they just look stupid, not knowing basic stuff about their world. And that's kind of what that kind of best friend in Persona role does. Whereas Stroll's a bit different. Like he's not an idiot, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I completely agree with that.
Right. So Ramon, you haven't played.
No, I haven't. I think it
Okay,
looks
just
fantastic, but I just remember how tired I was after Persona 5, so I don't think I have it in me right
that is
now.
so fucking valid, dude. Because me too. I actually Persona 5, me beating that game multiple times is what made me go back to Destiny. I was just like, I just need something mindless. You know what I'm saying? So I understand. But yeah, so I just didn't want you to feel left out as we continue our discussion on this.
Oh
So
yeah, no.
yeah. What about Hokenberg?
A elf.
I don't
Okay.
really. No, go ahead, Singer. Go ahead and finish.
I was just gonna say, Hulkenberg is like many things about this. Easily, probably one of the best characters, just for the sword skills alone. Like skills with a blade, like
Hmm.
really, really great frontliner. Like if you need a frontliner, Hulkenberg is your character to go. Also has pretty good. Can't wait to get into that deep into the story. But it's she has that whole uh you know night thing going on, I guess you could say. I can't really tell. But yeah, it's I really like her for obvious reasons.
Okay.
I
So Ramon.
don't really care for her. I mean, she's
Really?
okay so far. You kind of get her at a time where I don't want to kind of say what happens, but it's like I haven't had enough time to really like get to know her, but she's just kind of just meh right now for me. She is very useful in combat, which is, you don't really have any options. Where I'm at in the game, you don't have much options because they're the only three characters that you have, but that are playable at the time. But it's like little things kind of. It's just like things about her personality that just like, well, that doesn't kind of track with this. For example, like she at one point was like a leader in the military and things like that. And then, instead of taking charge and in this party, she's all like, hey, quiet kid that won't say anything unless someone says something to you. You should be the captain. What? Why? Like you got all the military experience. We this is a critical situation, and you're just going to take a back seat to the guy that hides behind everyone else. Like, what are we doing here? It was just weird. So, and I know that was also kind of like the protagonist is always like the de facto leader of, and that's an Atlas staple of their RPGs. But it just, for her kind of personality to be the one to say that was just weird. But she's great as a character. The night class is, I think, very essential in the early parts of the game, and so I'm glad to have her there in that aspect. But other than that, she's just meh. She's just okay.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I'm not saying I like actively dislike her or anything, because I don't actively dislike her. It's more so I was just kind of like, all right, there are certain aspects where I'm sure there will be more of an explanation as you continue forward with the game, where I was just kind of like, so you like, what have you been doing? Like, what have you been doing
That's a
this
good
entire
question.
time?
That's a very
Like,
good question.
I understand this concept of I feel guilty because like I let down the prince or whatever, but like seriously, like what have you been doing? I feel like she has a very passive personality actually. Like even thinking again, spoiler alert, spoiler. She was willing to let herself die because of the guilt that she felt. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And so I feel like that ties into like her letting the main character be the leader of the group without any like real say in it, because it's like she's super passive. So I was just like, all right, I mean, she's fine. I don't have any feelings on her one way or another. I don't like or dislike her. I may dislike the aspect of her we're like, take for instance the beginning of the game, and you were on that cart, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, instead of stopping those guys from robbing everybody, she's just kinda standing there. And I'm just like, "Oh, I mean, okay, like, I like, I" and she said something about drawing first blood, and I was like, "Okay, so can you not act unless someone draws blood first? Like, is that, like, the rule there? Like, what's" I don't understand, like, the reasoning, and I'm hoping that there's some explanation on, like, what the knights are supposed to be doing, right? But at the same time, the knights have been looking a little spooky over the last so years, right? So it's just kinda like, why were you so passive in that moment as well? So maybe it's just like that's her personality type. She's just a passive person. But it didn't really vibe with me, you know? So there was that. But overall, I think she's okay. I think she's great for that defense aspect, drawing the offense. So I appreciate that character type, character archetype for her in terms of battle. And I do like that you can switch between them, and you could realistically change her to something else. So, but from what I had played, I had her as that type as well. So I can't wait. Like when I do play, I can't wait to play it and have more choices for the characters in the party, because I'm just kind of I'm kind of on her so far. So okay, so the story so far, thoughts?
I like it so far. I like the turn that it. I'm very early on, and you see this part in the demo, but like even in the opening cutscenes, you can definitely tell that this is a bit darker. in content than in their prior games. You got assassinations, you got politicking, Game of Thrones kind of stuff going on, and then there was just like this massive turn right before the first real big dungeon, big palace, with a countdown to when you have to clear it. And I was just kind of taken aback at how different it is in this game, in this IP, compared to their other games. But I like it so far. I think the main villain is pretty cool. I think it was pretty obvious he's how evil he is, and everyone's just like in the opening cutscene, just like I don't know what's going on, and this guy's just staring daggers at everyone at how evil he is. I'm just like, clearly he did it, whatever, right? So,
Yeah, Louis a bit of he's giving cliche. I'm not gonna lie. So
yeah, I mean, it just, if you ever like seen like a movie or TV show where like the bad guy is doing the whole like head tilt down, kind of like looking evil and mean, and the guy's like a pretty boy, clearly, so he's like he's trying to look evil when as evil as he could possibly be, and it's just like, what is everyone doing? Clearly, this guy is the bad guy. I mean, like it's crazy, but I do like where it's going so far with the story. I think the themes in the game are, you have all these, for people who haven't played it, this takes place in like, the other games take place in like our world, or a version of our world, where this takes place in like a fantasy universe, and then there's monsters called humans, but we don't know why they're called humans, because we know what humans look like, and they look kind of like humans, but they're definitely monsters. So there's a whole mystery around that, and all the different races that are in this world, they're like, they look humanoid, but then they'll have like antlers or horns on their head, or there'll be like elves and stuff like that, and everybody's a racist. Like, nobody, like one race hates like all the other races, and the race of your main character, who just looks straight up human to me, but they got some weird name for him that begins with an E, and it's just, every race hates his race, and I'm just like, for what did they do? But there's so much like going on, and I haven't really like scratched the lore yet to find out everything. But you get into some really interesting conversations with people around the city, and I kind of wish some of the side quest stuff didn't take up actual time that you need to like do the dungeon, because I really would like to engage in that more. But I've just kind of decided to do what I do with other Persona games, which is complete the dungeon and then do all the social and side quest stuff in the time that you have left before the countdown's over. And so, but I like it. I like the story.
okay, Singer.
Overall, overall, I like the game. I agree with a lot of the points Slomo said. Yeah, no, I was muted. But yeah, I'm super hyped for this because I enjoy my fantasy stories, and that's what drew me to the game anyway. I'm like, okay, so it's Persona combat with some Persona features, but in a completely different world, and it's refreshing. I like it. Can't wait to see where the story goes, how the characters interact, how many more characters we get, the uniqueness. I agree with the whole racist thing and the humans. What I found was really crazy is when he picked up the book, when Gallica was reading the book he had, and it was showing you the modern day. And I'm like, is this some weird twisted thing where you're in the fantasy world and then like the real world is trying to invade the fantasy world or something, or influencing it? Or isn't it? I found it interesting. I wonder where that goes, because that book has to do something, right? You all agree?
Yes, I do agree.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just interested in, does she flick through more pages? Is there like, oh, the bad guy turns out to be a human who came from the 21st century?
Yeah, I'm
Could be
very
something
curious
like that.
as to where the story can go. I actually, I think all of Atlas's games are dark, in like different ways. You know what I'm saying? Like they follow some dark themes, so I feel like this is pretty par the course for them in regards to that. Except that it's starting off like with a bang, essentially. Louis is so. Like he's just so generically evil to me, you know. But I will say this: there are 3 so far from what I have played. I played 3.5 hours, right? 3 femboys. Can someone explain the thought process there? I was like sitting there like another femboy. Oh, another femboy. Another femboy. Okay, so Louis the Prince and then this one guy who works for Louis. And I'm just like, okay, so I guess this is just the theme for this game, I guess. So so far, I just wanted to point out that aspect of it. But I like the story so far. I'm curious to see where it will go. I do like the play. I always enjoy fantasy games and fantasy stories and how authors do because like a major theme when it comes to a lot of fantasy stories is like the oppression, is that prejudice, is with someone trying to you know deal with the caste system and where they fit in it and how it affects them. So it's always interesting to see that. Yeah, so the main character is discriminated against by everyone, but like the main character looks like a human essentially, and a human as in like us, right? And everybody else
Mhm.
has like different little character quirks like horns or whatever, right? Or elves with their ears. And then I really, really like that the scariest monsters in the game are called humans, and they're just like these monstrous atrocities. I really appreciate that because I feel like there's a lot of there's a lot of fucked up things that humans have done over the centuries of us existing. So it's nice when games and stories like conceptualize that and have themes that follow around that. So I really like that aspect of it. I think Atlas cooked with that one, or studio. What are they called?
The studio is it P Studio? Something like that
Yeah, I
for
cannot
Atlas?
remember. Studio Zero. I think
Okay.
Studio Zero really cooked with that, and I want to give them all the praise and kudos for that. So yeah, it's just great. I really enjoy it, and I'm curious to see where it will go. And I also like I don't like or dislike him actually. He's just kind of there. So the guy who is basically the Igor archetype in the game. I don't have any feelings towards him one way or another. I am a little bit kind of like worry of him. I'm like, is this actually a good guy? Like, I don't know. He's the author of the book that you read, and he's the one who helps you out with your archetypes. So I'm just kind of like, I'm not sure yet. I do like there was a moment and where me and Gallica, I think that's what her name is, like the fairy. Me and
Mhm.
Gallica, I was just like, damn, so do I just not get the chance to sleep? Why am I always transported here right when I go to bed? And she said like the same thing that I said. And I was like, okay, see, I'm glad that they're self-aware because this is a little bit much right there. So I'm okay with him. And I like Gallica. Like, I like her. Let me just make sure I'm using the correct name. Hold on.
I like her better than any of the other like non-human companions that can't or sometimes can or cannot fight with you. Like the cat in 5 can fight with you, but Teddy in 4 couldn't. And I wanted to murder Teddy because Teddy was awful. Teddy, matter of fact, I'm just getting mad thinking about that dumb character, yo. I hated
Right.
that character. But Gallica like is with you and provides a lot of like exposition in certain situations, explaining things. But I like her character because she also isn't annoying and she actually provides good input into conversations and discussions about what's going on. So I do like her, but yeah. Teddy can die in a fire.
Yeah, I like her
Burnt
too.
alive.
I agree with you. I think I like her the best out of the crew so far. I think she's the most I feel the most, I guess, connected with her. I feel like she's the best. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but I definitely agree with you in that aspect. I feel like she's a really good character, and I enjoy speaking with her. I enjoy when she adds her commentary on stuff. She's like the little guide that you have, your little Jiminy Cricket, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, and I agree. I don't think she's annoying. I didn't find Morgana annoying or not annoying, and I didn't get far enough in I didn't get far enough in Persona 4 to have an experience. Like, I do recall first meeting Teddy, and he was actually super annoying. So I believe you.
It
So
gets worse. It gets
I
worse.
fucking believe you,
Like
dude.
like I thought Morgana was annoying, and then after Teddy, and then when I played 5 Royal, I was like, all right, my bad, Morgana, you're not as bad. Considering this came after the previous one, they toned your character archetype down. They they really made you a little, that this role that you're playing a little less annoying than the previous one. Because good grief, Teddy is just the worst. Just the
Yeah.
worst.
All right, let me grab this. Dono, appreciate you, Ronald, saying, okay, I'm sorry. We get in a Royal or Vengeance expansion because Atlas wants us to double dip. You already know how it is, baby. You already fucking know how it is and what they do. Come on. Like, I saw the little outfits. I was like looking at the game on PlayStation. I saw the little outfits. I'm like, oh, I know. I see what this is already. But I appreciate the big dono. Thank you so much. But yeah, I definitely enjoy the game. I definitely enjoy the game. And I might pick it up earlier. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll definitely have to see. I'm not sure yet when it comes to that. So okay, I think we did good with this topic. Yes,
Agreed.
yes.
Agreed.
Okay. All right. So 343 has rebranded themselves into Halo Studios. So thoughts, my Halo guys?
I think it was kind of necessary, even though it doesn't really you're still who you are. So you can change your name, but if you aren't changing your policies and how you go about business and how you develop games, then it's going to end up being the same result. But I do think for image purposes, they need to kind of get away from the 343 Industries name. And even though there are some people who apparently don't even know what 343 means, and they're supposed to be
Yet
Xbox
they're the
fans.
biggest fans of Xbox.
What does 343 mean?
343 is reference to 343 Guilty Spark. In the first Halo, there's even a mission where you first meet him, and he is the monitor of Installation 04, i.e., the monitor of that Halo ring. And
you
he's
encounter him like halfway through the game. So
yeah,
if
on
you
the mission
didn't know
actually called
that means
343.
for the very first Halo game, you didn't play halfway through it.
Yep.
You didn't know that.
And you know what's
Exactly.
funny? The mission is called 343 Guilty Spark. Like, come on, man. Like, the actual, that's the, when it pops up when you.
That robot is a bastard, too.
Oh, I enjoyed fucking. I enjoyed blasting him in the face.
I do want to say
he's
this.
definitely a dick.
Destin Legary is not an Xbox guy. I don't know why people branded him as such. Maybe it's because occasionally he would defend Xbox or Microsoft, but he was always a PC guy. Because I used to watch him back when I played Destiny. He was a Destiny PC guy. He would play Destiny on PC and he would talk about Destiny. Like, he was not an Xbox guy. Just like Mr. Matty Plays wasn't initially an Xbox guy. I watched him for his Fallout coverage, his RPG coverage and everything like that. I think as soon as people start showing positivity one way or another with these corporations, they automatically get branded as such. But Destin was never actually an Xbox guy. So I think that he's maybe he's leaned into that moniker. I'm not sure. But him not knowing
he's definitely leaned into it.
Yeah, he
But
has me, 'cause before I knew who
going
he
off
was.
on the thing, calling himself a Halo fan and stuff like that. Like you can't. I'm not gonna say I'm a fan of an IP. Luca, it's like people saying they're Dragon Age fans and they couldn't tell you who Morgan is. And it's
No, you're right. I agree. It'd be
you're
like,
not a
don't piss me
Dragon Age
off, man.
fan. Yes. And
Don't
so
fucking piss me off.
and I mean, just to even say what he said just kind of pissed me off, because it's like I as a actual Halo fan who's played through all the campaigns multiple times, except for Infinite, just played through that once, and is extensive time in the multiplayer. I get annoyed when fake Halo fans, tourists, be coming in and trying to dictate what Halo should be doing. And I do understand to a degree that the Halo fan has to let go of the reins a little bit. Like the game is old, and what we played and loved in 2003 ain't gonna sell today. And so they got to make some changes. Halo Studios has to make some changes with the IP if they want to actually be relevant. That said, if you don't even know the basics, like common knowledge stuff, like even a casual Halo fan knows, I just don't care about your opinion, period, whatsoever. Just don't be trying to dictate what needs to happen, because you clearly don't know what the hell you're talking about. But I digress. I
It's
think
like Tomo. It's like if we started a podcast called The Alluvion, right? And then so that I was like, I don't actually know what does that mean. I'm not sure.
and that's the name of the podcast, and they were just like, "Hey, so what was up with all the mirrors all everywhere?"
Like what was Meryl's main goal in Dragon Age 2? I have no idea. It's like, what are you saying to me right now? Like, you sound fucking crazy. So, yeah, he definitely got some backlash for that, but it is what it is, whatever.
Much deserved.
It is what it is. So, yeah, so 343 rebrands as Halo Studios, and it is confirming that it is moving away from the proprietary Slipstream engine to instead work with Unreal Engine.
It's called Slipspace.
Yeah, I'm just reading this article, so.
Did they say Slipstream in the article?
They actually got it wrong in the article.
Whose article is this?
Game Rant.
Oh man,
not surprised. Not surprised. Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I mean, yeah. So, okay. So, Slip Space Engine. All right, Slip Space Engine to instead. See, hold on. Let me talk about this for a second. This is my issue with gaming journalists these days. Okay, this is one of my issues with them, because like, this seems like a very simple thing to know, if you're writing an article on it, but whatever, right? So anyway, to instead work with Unreal Engine 5 for its multiple future Halo projects, the Halo series continues to be a cornerstone franchise for the Xbox brand, though its recent releases haven't always hit the mark with longtime fans. So, okay, so remember when Halo Infinite got delayed? That was so funny.
Oh, man,
anyway, so Halo Infinite has had some its fair share of issues, from major desync issues with multiplayer, missing features, aggressive monetization, as well as a lack of content for a game that attempted to utilize the live service model. That's actually what got me to stop playing Halo Infinite. I got really bored. Like I finished the season pass for I guess season 1, and I got bored. I was like, okay, I'll go play something else, right? And then I just never went back. So, so while the studio eventually reached that point, there were more than a few fans wondering how things could change for better with the new games expected. As it turns out, 343 Industries has big plans for the future of the Halo franchise. So, 343 Industries is now Halo Studios. Okay. The rebrand is also joined by a studio change to its culture, workflow, and how its internal teams are organized, which studio head Pierre Hentz suggests it will include the community for decisions earlier in development. While Halo Studios didn't have any games to reveal or announce, even after a full a summer full of commenting on Halo franchise rumors. It was revealed that multiple projects are currently in development, though it may be some time before details are provided due to a major shift going on behind the scenes. So, thoughts? I mean, they're switching their game engine. What do you guys think about that?
Good. As they should, because some studios should have their own engines, some shouldn't. Like Gorilla has theirs, id has theirs, Turn 10 has theirs, but they're all really good engines. Then you have Bethesda, shout out to Creation, part of garbage. They should move to Unreal Engine 5. And I'm glad they're switching to Unreal Engine 5 because it'll make everything a lot easier, especially someone made a good point. Because contractors come onto the job, right? If it's a proprietary engine, they would have to learn the engine, then get on with their work. Whereas if you're just on Unreal Engine 5, if you're going from one Unreal Engine 5 game to another, you don't need that time. You could just jump straight in because you understand how Unreal Engine 5 works. Whereas if you have to go, well, now I have to learn this engine, then I have to learn this engine, even though I already learned how to use Unreal. So I think it's a good thing.
And to be clear about that, in the state of Washington, they have laws around contracting, and there's a maximum time period that you can have a contractor working for you, and it's 15 months, and then there's got to be like a 6-month cool off period before they could be eligible to work for you again. And so, if you are using a proprietary engine while also having those kind of restrictions on contracting, you're not getting a lot of good development time out of these contractors before you have to rotate them out and have someone else come in and take up their job. And then you got to do the same thing with this new contractor that you did with the old, have them learn the game engine. Then hopefully the previous contractor left good notes on what they were doing so that this next one can pick up once they've got their feet wet and know what they're doing to continue on. And they also were using contractors in very important roles. Like if essentially the issue here, and it's still a Microsoft issue, whether it is they're going on Unreal Engine now or whatever, but a lot of these people should have been full-time employees instead of contractors. But Microsoft didn't want to, give out that kind of budget to 343 and allow them to bring these people in full time with benefits and all that other stuff. So they kept them in contractors, and it just, for a decade of 343's existence, this is how they operate. And this is why you would have all this kind of like loss of knowledge consistently happening. It's part of the reason why you would have like Halo 4 have a great campaign and people not care too much about the multiplayer. And then instead of just building upon that and fixing the multiplayer for Halo Guardians, we get better multiplayer, but worse campaign. It's just like there was no consistency because there's so much high amounts of turnover going on at the studio. That's just one of their issues. There is a multitude of other ones, but switching to Unreal is good for them because trying to develop a game engine while you're also trying to make a game is difficult, and not everybody can do that. But the studios that can and do that, they typically, and it's sad to say this about a Microsoft company, have more resources than 343 had. Massive Entertainment under Ubisoft made Snowdrop Engine, which is one of the best engines in the game industry, while also making The Division 1. But Massive Entertainment is 700 developers. It's double the staff that 343 has. I mean, it's just it's funny how leadership is so out of touch, compared to what is necessary to kind of achieve the goals that they were attempting to achieve. Like, you're trying to be a live service game with Halo Infinite, and you want to compete with other live service games, but they got like multiple support studios helping them, with the main studio being even bigger than you are, and they're putting out consistent and struggling to make sure to maintain and hit their milestones. They put out consistent content. with game engines that are actually conducive for them to be able to do so. And it doesn't alleviate all the issues, but at the very least, with Unreal Engine 5, they'll be able to work and put in maps in a more consistent basis than they would with Slipspace. It's a better engine than Slipspace. And before Slipspace, they were using the same engine that Bungie had back when Bungie was still running Halo. So it's just, they're better off not needing, like, just adapting the current tools for Halo to Unreal and just going with an engine where if there's something not right that you need, you can rely on Epic to be able to create the things that are necessary for you to make sure that the engine runs correctly.
All right, sweet. So, were you gonna say something?
Oh no, I was just gonna say the same thing. It's gonna be I think it'll be it's a cool thing also because if they are going to it might actually help for porting too if they're porting to various platforms. UE5 lends itself to that. What I'm interested in though is seeing if they can get UE5 to behave, because so far, like, I think Black Myth Wukong has done one of the better jobs, and that game still has problems. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can kind of like wrestle UE5 down and get it to act properly.
Well, Ramon, that's a interesting thing you brought up, because that's kind of the dilemma, the negative side of using Unreal. And Epic really needs the smoke for how Unreal is, because Unreal Engine is really bad at shader cache compilations, which are things that like other game engines do much better, but Epic has struggled with this with Unreal ever since Unreal 5 became their latest game engine. A lot of the benefits with Lumen and Nanite and I mean, some of the other improvements they made over Unreal Engine 4 to make it better for like open world environments are there, but a lot of the stuff that they told developers you'll be able to do and showed off in demos really hasn't been available until like now. Like, they're now on Unreal Engine 5.4, and 5.4 is just now getting good at doing the basic things that people expected it to have and do. And so the stuttering, the traversal stutters, the shader caching issues, all that stuff is now getting smoothed out. But the problem is there's so many games are being developed on the older versions of Unreal 5. But hopefully when Halo Studios drops their next Halo game, which would be on Unreal, they're using 5.4 or above. But this is the issue that you get with everyone using one game engine. Because if everyone's using one game engine and just so happen that game engine's got a major problem, that major problem is now everyone's major problem. And that's why you see so many games coming out, especially on PC, that have the same issues as previous game. It's because they both use Unreal Engine 5. And it's not the developer's fault that Epic is struggling to get their engine where it is, but here we are.
All right. Yep. Well, I did have a question before you have to go, Slow-Mo. DEI Halo? What's going on with that? What's happening
Well,
there?
apparently, some people saw a picture of a young lady that works for Halo Studios that was in their little like promotional video, and they saw her hair color and they saw her skin tone and said, "See, this is everything that's wrong with Halo. It's not that the game is outdated. It's not that they didn't have enough content at launch. It's not that the campaign people wasn't feeling. It's because they got black women with
black
rainbow flags in there. With black gay women.
Double whammy.
Just that's why. Clearly, she's everything that's related. Like, they don't even know exactly what she does. But hey, that's everything that's wrong with Halo, and it's just
She's the chief of
you're just
staff at
racist,
Halo
bro.
Studios.
You're just a sexist, homophobic loser. Is what these guys are, and they latch on to these things, and it's so blatantly obvious now that's what it is. Like, they're not even waiting until we see the game to complain. They're not even waiting till they play the game to complain. Now they're just looking at pictures of the developers and saying, see what? A human being trying to do their job? What am I supposed to be angry about? It's just ridiculous. So, but they get riled up by these grifters. So
it's true.
is
So
what it is.
Melissa Boone, that's her name. She has she, her. Those are her pronouns. She's the chief of staff of Halo Studio. So she does have a rainbow background, and she does have purple colored hair at the top. She's a black woman. She's got glasses on too, and she is.
Oh my gosh, you can't even see.
I know, she can't even see, and that's why.
How's she gonna program this game?
Exactly. That's not her fucking job. But she's worked with Microsoft for 9 years. She was a user researcher when she first started off, and then she was a principal UX research manager, and she became the chief of staff of Halo Studios 1 year and 7 months ago. Again, I repeat, 1 year and 7 months ago. So she's been the chief of staff for Halo Studios this entire time. And because there's tourists, a bunch of tourists involved, they decided to oh my god. Oh my god. This is why Halo's gonna suck. And I'm just like, I feel like Halo has other issues, and they have nothing to do with their the chief of staff, whatever that means. She's like a manager. Like, it's not like
Basically.
You know what I'm saying? Like, basically, she's like, that's a fancy term for a manager. So they're going to be inserting more DEI politics into Halo. I honestly don't know how they would even do that. With the story as it is, like, I don't even know, like, maybe maybe the next game, instead of having it be the Master Chief, they replace it with a black guy. Oh, I'm sorry, that was Halo 5. My bad.
No, they'll just make Master Chief gay. That's what they'll do.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Or maybe they'll make him into a woman and gay.
Yeah, and his armor will be pink.
Yeah. Yes, I think that.
Or her, yeah. And then the pronouns will be spray painted on the armor as well.
Yeah, I like that.
That's
I like
great.
That
instead of the 117, it's him/he.
Oh man.
Oh my
instead
God.
Instead of that hammer you get in the game, you'll have to be a comb with an afro. The afro comb with a fist.
Oh my God!
Yes,
they would definitely blame that on the studio head.
Yeah,
Pierre Heinz is a big bald black guy. That definitely scares them. They saw him walking down the street. They crossed to the other side.
Yeah. So honestly speaking, I don't have many thoughts on this. Like, I don't care. There's I saw a bunch of comments, and people can say, oh, all of this is born out of concern, but there were a lot of racist and homophobic and sexist comments in the replies as well, which makes sense. It is Elon's ex, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't really think all that much of it. Again, she's worked there for a year, like more than a year at this point. So I worked as a chief of staff for more than a year at this point. So I guess if you could look at anything that's going on with Halo in the recent year and a half, like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have no clue. I'm not playing Halo like that anymore. So, have you sensed any DEI intent as you've been playing Slow-Mo?
No, but I did see the Bonobo incident. So I guess she wasn't there.
They were quiet about that. They
had no problem with that whatsoever. And in fact, when Yeah, exactly. They were like, it's the name of a tool in their project. Like these people who don't know how programs work.
Mm-hmm.
Like if this is what happened. They forgot to name the Juneteenth armor, and the tool just gave it its own name by default. I'm like, if that were true, it would have like a signifier behind it, like a number.
I mean, come on, guys. They
This
all look
wouldn't
like
be
gorillas
just
anyway, so it's not a big deal.
bonobo.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they just made all these excuses for O'Connell's races behind. Glad they got rid of him. But now, that the studio head's black and the chief of staff is a gay black woman. Now all of a sudden, before it was like, keep all this race stuff out of my Halo. Now all of a sudden, now they care. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So, like I said, I don't think too much of it. Like, at this point, there's just, with the grifters and all that nonsense, like, we'll have another example. Endymion, who I actually used to watch back when he was a little bit more balanced, and then like he switched up pretty hardcore, and now he's like a really big YouTuber. He gets so many views, but I don't have any respect for him, which is fine, because who am I? Nobody, right? Like, nobody, a loser who barely gets any views, right? But I don't really have any respect for him as a person, because I feel like his heart's not actually in it. I feel like he's sold out. And like, even some of the replies he had, like, he was arguing with somebody on Twitter, and he was just like, yeah, no, go, what did he say? Go check in with your wife's boyfriend while she gets fucked. Huh? And I'm just like, what are you, 12? You fucking dweeb? Like, why is this even a reply? Like, how old are you? It's so like immature, and it's just like nothing. So he does the anti-woke stuff. He's been like claiming he's like he was like, they're taking Yasuke out. I'm like, baby, do you know how game development works? Like, what are you saying right now? He recently came out and talked about how CDPR is injecting a bunch of woke and DEI stuff into their games. And like, what was it? The CEO actually replied to him and was just like, it seems like we live in a time where anyone can record complete nonsense and make a story out of it. CDPR talent's leaving. We have the lowest rotation of people in recent years. He had to clarify recent years, okay? Because people surely were walking the fuck out during that cyberpunk development. But okay, anyway. DEI driven recruitment. I mean, if you look at their website, matter of fact, let's go look at their website. CDPR website. We'll see. Are they hiring based on merit? That's what they said they're doing, okay? But it's not like they can come out and blatantly say that they're hiring based on anything else, because, well, actually, I don't know what the laws are over there, so maybe they can. Who knows, right? But yeah, so apparently, I don't know, like, there are a bunch of, they're hyper fixated on DEI over at CDPR. What else did he say? We hire based on merit and talent alone, just as we make games driven by artistic vision alone. Why do we choose Unreal Engine? Because it enables us to work on our games more efficiently and remain cutting edge tech-wise. The Witcher 3's director left. Yes, that was more than 2 years ago. Can we stop looking for conspiracy theories and go back to making cool stuff? So I would definitely say that they're feeling the heat. And it's pissing them off, honestly speaking. The fact that this guy, who is the CEO of a joint CEO of CDPR, even felt compelled to come out and be like, you're full of shit, to a fucking YouTuber, really said a lot, I would say. They got a lot of backlash, and rightfully so, because they pulled a lot of bullshit. I know, like, they pulled a lot of bullshit, but people are also like, kind of they're excited for the next game, but they're also kind of like, I'm not sure, because of the bullshit they pulled. The reason they're excited is because of like Phantom Liberty, which Slomo played and really enjoyed. He said it was really good, right? Oh, he stepped away. Yeah, Slomo played Phantom Liberty. He said it was really good. He really enjoyed it. So a lot of people really enjoyed that expansion there. So there's there's hope for CDPR and their writing and their gameplay and the way that they tell their stories. So there's several CDPR titles that are in development now, including The Witcher 4, which Geralt will not be the main focus for The Witcher 4. Apparently some tourists have been like, we're like, oh, you see, there's that DEI stuff. But if you actually played The Witcher 3, you would know that Geralt was going forward, not going to be the main focus, because The Witcher 3 was kind of like his goodbye. You know what I'm saying? Like
Especially Blood and Wine.
his send off, especially Blood and Wine. Blood and Wine was Geralt's send off, and it was so, like, yeah, I mean, what can you really say about this DEI stuff at this point? I feel like DEI initiatives are at several corporations, and I don't really have much thought on it, except, like, for instance, if I feel like the corporation doesn't genuinely care. And honestly speaking, they're corporations. They most likely do not actually care about this. And it's for PR purposes, and it's in order to appeal to backlash, essentially, right? Or, like that kind of thing. It's used as like a marketing tactic. It's like, oh, we search for these specific things, or we include this in our hiring practices. We don't like exclude anybody. And we are a diverse corporation, and we want to hear and include and have everyone's perspectives and all that stuff. Like, I think that the DEI stuff is definitely, I don't really think of it as genuine, because we could look at stuff like the Blacks at Bungie. That's the name. Blacks at
Oh
Bungie,
my god.
and then Latinx at Bungie, and like they had those initiatives or whatever, and then they were being like fucking racist and sexist over there. So it's just kind of like, like, come on, I feel like those kinds of initiatives are only in name, so I don't actually think too much of them when I see them, because I feel like they're a normal part of a lot of corporations these days. So, I mean, what do you think, Ramon?
Pretty much the same. I mean, if it's coming from a genuine place, that's one thing, and sometimes it is, but I mean, you just said it, like they're corporations. They're multi-hundred million and billion and $100 billion corporations. I struggle to find a company that reaches that level, that size, that's not off of some blood. So, I mean, it often isn't coming from a genuine place, but at the same time, like anyone who has paid even an inch of attention knows like the type of sexism, especially, and racism in the tech industry. It's just ridiculous. So, I mean, you know, programs like this were started for a reason. They weren't just started out of the blue. But the problem is you get these people, who they found a new flag to kind of hide their racism under, and they've completely twisted the term DEI, and that's their new DEI is their new misogynist talk, and it's the new N word, and it's the new
It's the new anti SJW. So
pretty much, and I mean, and you just, that right there is perfect, what you just said, because they weaponized and twisted the term SJW, because that wasn't as bad as the way they twisted it around to be. I mean, you have extremists on every side, but the problem is they took the term and they just twisted it into something. It reminds me of, the Buddha symbol. I can't think of what it's called, but it's like the turning wheel, I want to say. Like, basically, the Nazis took it and flipped it around and made it into the swastika, but it wasn't like that at first. So it's like the same thing. Like, you take something that has good intentions and then they twist it around into an evil weapon. You know what I mean? And that's,
yeah,
and
unfortunate. Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, we've seen this through history. This is nothing new. I mean, they're just doing the same thing, this time around. But the one thing that I don't think they realize is that when you constantly beat a drum so loud for so long, people become deaf to it. And the more they keep saying, oh, DEI this, oh, this woman has a DEI chin, oh, this company is using DEI engines, gaming engines, UE5, and everything is DEI. Everything is DEI. If it's not a straight white male, it's all DEI. a
Yeah.
tree, like, trees are DEI because, you know what I mean? Like, it's because the leaves are pink. You know what I mean? Like, just everything is DEI. So yeah, it's, it's like this now, and then, something else will happen, and then they'll move on to the next one, and then they'll beat that drum until people become deaf to it, and they'll find another drum to beat, and the beat goes on. It never
Yeah,
stops.
it's like I do agree with that. It's like with the whole like I got tired of them being like super extra with like they were just doing too they were doing too much when it came to like trying to be inclusive, that it became like a parody of itself, and it became like it was they were more focused on brownie points than they were on actually creating compelling stories, right? And
Exactly.
so I
And it
got sick of
shows.
that. And the reason why like the anti SJW movement was able to grow to such an extent where it's like this anti woke movement, right? Is because people like normies got tired of it got to a point where normies started to notice it, and they got tired of people pushing like the identity politics to the point where it was more about the identity politics and the actual like story, actually building compelling stories and characters, right? And so I got tired of it too. But I'm getting tired of the anti-SJW, anti-woke movement. Like they are being so egregious, and it's like they don't even try to pretend or hide their intent anymore. They're just openly and blatantly prejudiced, you know? It's like I was
Yep.
listening to a couple of like I guess maybe like the newer channels, and one of them, the dude was like openly transphobic. He was misgendering the head of Dragon Age Studios, and he also was on Twitter talking about like, oh, um let's make it what did he say? I'm gonna read what he said. It was so vile that it actually made me block him. But he said, hi, it looks like the trans grifter person, no, hold on, what did he say? BioWare, can we make this an in-game accessory available only to those who select top surgery scars? And he added BioWare and Dragon Age, and then he had a picture of a noose. So they are so openly,
Wow.
yeah, like so openly hateful that it's just like, okay, you're a vile piece of shit. So I'm just going to block you. You know, he's just openly transphobic. He is not a good person. And I could say some more things, but I'll get banned if I say them, right? So he's someone who has a big channel, and part of him having a big channel is being hateful, okay? And then I was looking at other anti woke people. I was watching their channels, and I was trying to like cuz I follow a lot of different I like to see different people's perspectives, right? But like nothing they say makes any sense. There's just no logic to anything that they say anymore. They just make things up, they lie, they exaggerate. I was watching Nerdrotic's review of Alien Romulus, and I'm just like, dude, you are so far. I mean, it's his opinion, so it's fine, but you are so far off the mark with this that it's not even funny. That is an amazing movie. And it's like people have just forgotten that being anti woke isn't like automatically I'm racist. It's like it's being against I guess caricatures, you know? I'm someone who is all like, "Oh, they should make new original characters. Stories should feature that." And Alien Romulus is a story that featured a lot of diversity, but that was not the main focus or highlight of the story. Normies love it. Alien fans love it. I loved it. It was fucking amazing. And the lead is a white woman, and pretty much every character uh in the main crew, except for like maybe like two characters, was someone who was a person of color, and nobody had a problem with it except for the super anti SJW people, because at this point I'm not including Nerdrotic in this. He is not a grifter. I'm sorry, in the sense that he's just doing this to make money. He's doing this because he genuinely believes in everything that he believes in. I view a grifter as someone who is doing this but doesn't actually believe in the things that they're saying. And that's why a lot of the things that they say are extremely irrational and just it doesn't make any sense, and they can't back it up. There's a lot of illogical things associated with it, you know? at least with Geeks and Gamers, like Jeremy, right, from Geeks and Gamers, he 100% believes like everything that he says. Like that's just he's genuine to himself as a person, right? Whether I agree with his perspective or his viewpoints or his politics, it's something else entirely. But like he's genuine to his person. But like these other people, these newer anti woke people, they're so like off the mark, and you hear them talk, and you're like, what are you saying? This doesn't, you don't even sound like you believe this shit, you know? Like Endymion does not sound like he believes any of the bullshit that comes out of his mouth. So I just think that at this point, a lot of people are growing tired of the anti-woke, anti-SJW folks, because like all things, as soon as you start to veer more towards the extreme, the normies will be like, what are you saying right now? Because I was looking even at Nerdrotic's perspective on Alien Romulus. I was reading his comments and they were just like, yeah, we don't agree with you. And I'm just saying, like, dude, normies, like people who just normal people who are not involved in like fandom culture, hardcore, who are just like, oh, watch a YouTube video here and there. I'll sub to this channel here and there, but I'm not like super involved. I'm not on Twitter all day arguing with folks or anything like that. Like, you could have casual conversations with them about these movies and shows. They want quality TV. They want quality TV, quality movies, quality entertainment. They are not actually racist or prejudiced. They don't care about that shit. They just want good quality films. So I feel like when it comes to the anti-SJW people are starting to be a little bit more like, okay, yeah, we're like, you guys are goofballs. Like you're just racist at this point. Like a lot of these people are just fucking prejudiced and are just super fucking racist. Like that one guy who was like who added the BioWare devs with that noose. Like, why would you do something like that? It's just so ugly. It's just so ugly, you know? It's
Well,
just
it's also
disgusting.
really reckless. Like these people, I mean, it goes without saying that these people would not be so bold in person, but the problem is the internet. The internet is a large population of small children with matches, you know, and they, they're sitting behind the internet anonymity, or keyboard courage, but they're talking so reckless and they're typing so reckless, and it could take nothing for that to affect the wrong person in a devastating way, and the next thing you know, they got police at their door. Like people are way too reckless. They're just too irresponsible with their public voice. They're just extremely irresponsible.
Yeah. It's like it's really, really ugly. And what's up, Hoodrich? How you doing? What's up, Macer? What's Master? Am I saying your name right? Probably not. But what's up, guys? How y'all doing? What's up? Let's see here. I think it's an overreaction to decades of objectified women in video games. So devs are trying not to have such an emphasis of beauty in their games. Yes, I agree, because it's like they have I've complained about this myself, like ugly female characters. I don't want that shit. They are overcorrecting basically. So that's the conversation in the chat. What's up, Gavin? But yeah, like they're just doing too much, Ramon. They're doing too much. And it's just like, you guys are just disgusting. Like, you're just a bad person. And I don't like when people pretend like they're not a piece of shit. At least be openly prejudiced. Like, you are openly prejudiced, so at least acknowledge that you are openly prejudiced. Like, I have had conversation with people who will say the most disgusting, vile, terrible things. And I'm just like, yeah, so you're just like racist, right? Do you remember when I had that conversation with that guy? I don't know if you
What
like if
was
we
it?
ever discussed it, but
Was it on P Rock's show with the Act Man?
no, it wasn't the it wasn't the Act Man, which is so funny because he actually got called a woke YouTuber. And I'm
You
just like,
got to be kidding me.
I know, it was like, okay, and the person who called him a woke YouTuber is a grifter. It's this guy named Andy Pans Gaming. He is a fucking grifter if I've ever seen one. The dude does not believe anything coming out of his mouth. He's like, oh, because you're gay. You're gay. And like the first thing he said to the Actmen when they did their debate, he was like, oh, like, what did he say? Like an African prince or some shit? Why are you gay? And I'm just like, I honestly think that you should, if I said how I feel and what I want people to do, I would be banned, like
No, I already feel you.
like I feel like, when it comes to the disgust and vitriol I feel, I've always been this type of person. Like, I feel like if you're a terrible person then who says terrible things, then terrible things should happen to you. Like, I'm sorry to say it. Like, I genuinely feel that way. And I'm talking about like really, really terrible things. Like, so this Andy Pans Gaming is just openly like, he'll be like, "Oh, you're gay. These guys are just gay guys." Guys, don't believe them. I'm not a grifter. Everybody else is just gay. They're just gay. This person's just gay. This is a gay guy. He's gay. Oh, he's black. He's black and he's gay. What? That guy's a grifter. Okay, that guy's a grifter. And Demion's a grifter. Like, those are the people who are grifters. Yeah. So it's stuff like that. It's fucking ridiculous, dude. It's so goofy. I just can't take these people seriously. And it's just like, again, if you are gonna be hateful, then you're gonna have to just take on the mantle of having that label placed on you. Like, I know for several years people were, like I said, with the whole like Hogwarts Legacy things, people trying to call you transphobic for playing that game. I was like, that's never gonna fucking stick, okay? That's never gonna work. You guys are idiots for pushing that narrative, okay? Like, that's not no one a normal
It's still
person.
charting. It's still charting.
Exactly. Like, this is not gonna work. A normal person is not going to be like, oh, I guess I am transphobic because I played this game. Like, what are you talking about? You sound crazy as hell, dude. Like, J.K. Rowling was not even involved in that shit, dude. Like, and she's already made all the money that she can. And she's got
not only
J.K.
that,
Rowling's a fucking idiot. So,
not only that,
yeah.
they had license to make the game before she went off on her bullshit. I mean, like they already had secured that before she opened her mouth. So like, and they're like, well, they should have canceled the game. It's like, yeah, okay, let's, we have
Cancel all that
we have an 80 to 100 and something $million game. Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll cancel that because the author said some dumb shit.
All right,
and is
like,
an idiot.
you're insane. Like, that
Like,
was
yeah, like,
never that was never an initiative that was gonna fucking work. They were crazy for pushing that narrative. It didn't work, and it actually pushed a lot of people away in the sense that it's like they had fucking like I would say like liberal channels. They had was it girlfriend reviews or whatever fucking crying on stream. I was like, okay, I can't believe you're letting these fucking freaks get to you like that. I understand though. Like, if you're like just a normal channel where you get a lot of views and it's just talking games and stuff, and people start attacking you and calling you all these names, and you're not used to it.
Her and her now husband, back then boyfriend's channel, they I don't know if you remember, like their first 5 videos were like, I think they may have been close to 1 million subscribers just off of like their first month of doing videos because their content was so like unique. They've had nothing but praise and positive feedback on everything they did, and for them to go from that's how it's always been for them as content creators to you're a horrible person. How dare you stream this game? You're terrible. Like all this, and clearly, like other people. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were just kind of just like, wait, what? and you're gonna get some tough skin from that, off that experience, and realize this is how the other side lives as well. But just the whole thing was like, I looked at a lot of people in this games media and gaming community differently after that, because I saw people who spoke in one kind of way all the time completely go back on everything that they speak on when it comes to how they care about games, how they care about developers, as if like Portkey Games developers don't exist, and just completely contradict everything that they've spoken on for years. And I'm just like, y'all a bunch of hypocrites, bro. Just it's crazy. And the concerted effort that they put in to try to get the game canceled with, let's make a website, and every streamer that streams the game, we're going to put them on the website with a link to their channel, and when they go live, we're just going to harass them I'm just like, so you're cyberbullying. So this is what we're doing. You're grown men and women deciding to cyberbully other content creators for playing a game, for having a difference of opinion than you and playing a game. Like, how pathetic do you have to be to put this much time and work in only for it to sell the most copies and games and make the most money out of any games the year it came out? It's just pathetic. And the fact that many of them even now still trash Hogwarts Legacy. They were
And it's still on the charts.
celebrating. Yeah, still on the charts. They were celebrating when it didn't get nominated for any awards. And it's not like it was nominated. It wasn't nominated for awards because it wasn't a good game. It wasn't nominated for awards because the dickheads that vote for the awards is your own people. And so y'all actively chose to make sure it didn't get nominated for anything. What are you celebrating? Like this is your only hollow victory. Enjoy it. Meanwhile, the devs are living good, burning cash in their fireplaces to keep warm.
And DLC is on the way.
Yeah, and a sequel.
Yep. It showed them.
Right.
So yeah, so honestly, again, it just goes back to like extremes, you know? If you are extreme in one way or another, you're gonna push people who are moderate or who would normally be like, all right, cool, away. It is what it is. Oh my goodness. Hypnotic also made a AI image, or maybe he just, got it from someone else, where it's the Halo studio chief of staff woman in front of a KFC sign.
Wow. Just blatantly racist.
He's just not a good person. So, like, he is just typical trash, honestly speaking. So that's how I feel like about these particular people. I just think that they're just hateful fucks, and that's how they got their views. And I don't have any respect for them. So I can be a dead channel who hardly gets any views, and that's perfectly fine. But I have my fucking integrity, and I'm not a piece of shit. I mean, I'm an asshole, but I am not a piece of shit. And that's been my biggest issue, is that I can't sell my fucking integrity for fucking views, dude. I can't fucking do it. I'm so sorry. I can't do it. Like, I only ever say how I genuinely feel about shit. So it's like, even the thought, the idea, the concept of like, and Iman, that tweet from him is actually still up. If you it's still up, I can't fucking do it, dude. I can't do it. That's why I couldn't do I just can't do it. It's the same with the console war stuff. Yeah, I would make jokes like, oh, Team Xbox, blah, blah, whatever, right? But at the end of the day, it's just like, I can't fucking lie about Xbox. I can't lie about PlayStation. I can't do it. I can't defy logic in order to make money and get views. I can't fucking do it, dude. It's not in me. And it's a personality quirk. I don't like when people don't follow logic in my day-to-day life. I don't like people who are stupid in my day-to-day life. So I couldn't do it in fucking online. I couldn't do it online, right? So I have my integrity there. And I'm also, just like I said, I'm not a hateful person. So I have my integrity there, So it's just like the fact that people like this can post things like this and just be so hateful and people still support them is just like, all right, cool. Good for you. You get all these views and you're better than me because you get more views. But you're like this. All right, that's cool. I'm definitely okay. I'm definitely okay with that. But yeah.
Well, there's a there's a price to pay no matter which direction you go when you stick to your integrity. Like, I look at, like, your show and Slow Mo Forte with DPS podcast, and shows like you guys are slower to build a lot of times because, well, for two reasons. One, because you don't just appeal to one platform. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you have an Xbox centric podcast like Defining Duke, for instance, they're very successful, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're an excellent show. What's Up PlayStation podcast is blowing up. They are, obviously in the name, you know what they're about. And so, I mean, you tend to sometimes take off a little faster because of that. And that's great. But the negative thing is when I say negative, but like the price to pay for having a positive show and sticking to your integrity is, unfortunately, the society that we live in, they subsist off of drama like it's a food source. People flock to blood and guts before something positive, like when that accident on the side of the road, you got looky-loos looking to see if they see a head laying on the ground. You know what I mean? Like, people flock to negativity faster than they flock to positivity. So shows like you guys that's far better quality. It just takes longer. But then when you have shows like, and I won't name them, but
Please don't
ones
name
that
any.
I'm not gonna name anybody, but they pull all kind of crap out of just out of nowhere.
And you
just
and
shit.
please clarify that you're not talking about What's Up PlayStation or Defining
No,
Duke as those kinds of channels.
No, that's what
they're
I said in the beginning.
yeah,
Like,
okay, just
their
making
shows
sure,
are
just making
great.
sure.
Like,
Yeah,
no, I was saying,
re-emphasize that, because also a big difference between my channel and everyone else's is that I don't put in any work on this either. Like, like, bitch, y'all never see me. So like, it's like, it's also something I'm not super passionate about, so I don't put any work into it. And like, the Iron Lords have put in so much work. Lord Cognito has put in so much work
shout out to
together with the
Cog.
rest of the boys. And then Persona and Jabari have put in so much work getting those interviews with people in the industry, and that can't be understated. You know what I'm saying? So they're people who I think they deserve everything that they have because they actually put in the work, and they're also, those shows they don't thrive off negativity and being
Exactly, yeah.
hateful in the same way. So
Exactly. And I want to also add to that, just to make sure it's perfectly clear. I'm not saying that they're successful because they have a platform specific channel, because that's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hard work. But you can progress a little faster if you're concentrated on one platform, because then everybody's filing into that. You know what I mean? But to emphasize again, I am not saying that their channels are blowing up because they're targeting a platform. They put in a lot of hard work and they deserve all the success. So I just want to emphasize that, shout out to Defining Duke, shout out to What's Up PlayStation podcast. I love those channels. But, but yeah, when you have a channel that, has a more broad appeal, it can take a little bit longer. And if you're not, just thriving off of negativity, which people are attracted to, negative channels also attract people really fast. But the quality of the audience you attract is a price to have to pay. Because if you ever find you don't have the stamina to maintain, that toxic waste that you spew out every week, your channel will turn on you. Because that's the audience you've cultivated, and that's the quality of audience that you're swimming in. So unfortunately, I mean, it's in every industry, it's the conversations I've had with some colleagues, and if we wrote the kind of books that take off a lot faster, we could probably be swimming right now. But it's just like, to sit down and do that, you almost feel sick to your stomach.
And you are a fantastic writer. Like,
I appreciate
genuinely.
That. Thank you.
Like, because let me tell you something, okay?
Big facts.
You could be like,
big facts.
You could be like Colleen Hoover, all right, who fucking writes bullshit and makes a ton of money, but the quality of her books is fucking garbage. You could be like that, just droning out fucking slop for people to consume. But no, you actually have quality writing. It fucking sucks, man. It's just different, God damn, I fucking can't stand Colleen Hoover, dude. I'm sorry. Oh my god, she pisses, like, her stuff makes me okay. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. My bad.
Shout out to Colleen.
choke. I'm sorry. Not her, actually. Just the things that she puts out. And like another example. Listen, as a Twilight fan, I could say with certainty, are those books well written? No, but I love the Twilight series. Okay, like that shit is fire. All right, I absolutely big. I was a big Twilight girly growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I was Team Edward.
Well,
You
well,
know.
what
Anyway,
you just said is actually
Stephanie Meyer is garbage. That's Stephanie
I
Meyer,
know.
right?
well,
That
yeah,
is
that's
sucks.
Stephanie Meyer. But
Yeah.
the thing what you just said, Luca, is actually a solid point when it comes to what's sometimes a lot of times what's successful in writing. Because okay, there are legions of people who hate Dan Brown's writing. Hate it. They're like, it's this elementary school level writing. You know, the writing is just terrible. Blah blah blah. And you know, I won't speak to that one way or the other. But what I will say is, he knows how to create a compelling story. And even if you write at a 5th grade level, if you can write a compelling story, you know, and then when you look at the average reading level of adults in general, but
Mhm.
you know, Stephanie Meyer falls into that camp where, you know, the quality of her writing, you know, may or may not be,
I
you
was
know, what's
also
considered up to par, but her
12.
story.
Okay,
Well,
I
yeah,
was
you were
12,
no,
so
but
I was a
you were
child.
12, but there were
Okay,
a lot of grown-ups who loved her books
my
as
mom.
well.
I know.
So yeah, so and the you know, I know the
Look, Stephanie Meyer wrote some kind of like body snatcher alien book I read once, and I was like,
I remember when she did. Yeah, she wrote that.
this is hot garbage. And I'm just like, I cannot believe that this got published. Like I'm just like, I just can't believe there was like a publishing house that was just like, yeah, run it. Let's pay her. Let's give her an advance. Let's give her a huge advance.
Name
We're
recognition.
gonna market the hell out of this. And it's just like, did anyone read it? Like, just like, did y'all read this? This story makes no sense. What are we doing?
Yeah. What was it called? I can't remember what it was called, but I tried reading it. It wasn't good. I mean, like I said, I read her. I was right there when Twilight was becoming like a big thing. Okay. So that's my excuse. Listen, I will forever be a Twilight girly. Nothing can ever, that's never going to change for me. Okay. But I can admit and acknowledge that those books are not well written. And Stephanie Meyer sucks. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she's good enough to have compelled a bunch of tweens into enjoying her content and like older adult women. And that's okay, man. That is okay. You know, take also the 50 Shades of Grey writer. I tried actually reading that
I
book.
heard
Okay,
That book
I
is
never
there are a
read
few
that.
times
I've
there are a
heard
few
they're really
times when
bad.
you there are a few times when I will outright say I can't stand a writer's work, but that 50 Shades of Grey, like, ugh.
it's
Anyway,
bad,
I'm just gonna
dude.
stop. I'm just gonna stop right there.
It's really, really, really bad. Like I remember being in the store with two of my friends, Chelsea and Tamara, and we decided to like read the books. Oh, like, oh, we'll just read it for fun, blah 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 blah. And then as we were reading it, we were like, oh, this is actually like really bad. Like this is bad, dude. So yeah, like, and that was a Twilight fucking fan fiction that she made into a fucking book, dude. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I need to write some
Imagine if a
bullshit
dude
slop,
wrote that.
bro.
Imagine if a dude wrote that.
That's a good
Actually,
point. Yeah.
actually, here's a better point. And I saw this. This was it was absolutely hilarious. Someone posted a photo and they memed it, and it was a picture of a broken down trailer in a trailer park, and it was like, imagine if 50 Shades of Grey took place here.
Well,
like,
like the appeal is that Christian Grey is rich. Like he's rich and
yep.
handsome, and he's gonna take like the like poor student. Oh my goodness, I just have so many issues with that fucking book, dude. But yeah, so the shit is trash, man. But it's so popular, you know, popular enough to have gotten a movie. So I'm just saying, like, just because something is popular does not mean it's actually good. I think we all are. What was that?
Hmm.
What was what?
Anyway, so I think that we're all aware that just because
What?
something is popular doesn't mean it's good.
You okay?
I was hearing things.
Okay. Well,
It's the
it's
birds,
just.
man.
Oh, okay. I thought it was, I was about to say that, the ghost of that bird you killed, but.
Yeah.
Poor bird. Pour one out for the bird. Shout out to the bird.
Yeah. So yeah, just because something's popular does not mean it's good, but that's at the same time, just because something's popular doesn't mean it's bad. All right. Like there's plenty of
Mhm.
things that are extremely popular that are good. I can't think of them right now. I'm sorry. Oh, Olivia Rodrigo. I think she is a great singer. So on the songwriting, but her songs are catchy, I think she's really popular. I think she's good. Taylor Swift. She's really popular. I like a couple of her songs, but not many of them, you know what I'm saying? Who else is really popular? Oh, Cardi B. She's fine, She's okay.
She's fine.
Okay.
Oh, Sexy Red. Sexy Red
No,
is a
stop
fucking
it.
horrendous rapper. Horrendous rapper. Her lyricism is ass. She sucks so badly, but she's super popular. So I'm just like, man,
I don't get it. I
I
do
don't get
not
it, man.
understand. Like,
I
what
don't
what
get it.
is
Like,
I
yeah,
don't get it at all. And my kids will not listen to her garbage. At least I
that's
don't think they are. They better not be.
Did I tell
But
you about how when I was in California and I was like next to a high school party, it was at this event, right? Event center that was next to the other event center I was at because I just got out of a concert, right? They were like blasting Sexy Red, and there was like these fucking teenage white girls twerking to Sexy Red. And I'm just like, what's going on, man? Like, what is happening right now? So yeah, I try to see the appeal in a lot of things where it's like, even if I don't like it, that doesn't mean like it's bad. But I personally think Sexy Red, like, there's just nothing, and I don't understand that shit, man. That's like I think she's like the only artist where I can like definitively say I don't understand why this is popular. It doesn't make sense to me at all, at all. Yeah, she's the only, because I like a bunch of I like female rappers, you know what I'm saying? I think not even I think Flo Milli is my favorite female rapper. And I also let's see here. I do like Latto. I think Latto's actually really good. I think that Latto's very smart? No. Absolutely fucking not. I think she's a little out of touch with reality, actually. But I think Latto is a great
most
rapper.
people who get to that point become out of touch with reality.
Yeah, that Brokey challenge was absolutely like, why would you encourage this girl? Like, this is just a bad idea all around. So she's out of touch with reality. But yeah, Flo Milli is my favorite female rapper. So it's not that I don't like female rap. It's just sexy. She's Sexy Red, okay? Is like the only one where I'm like, I don't get this shit, man. So okay, so I guess I'm done, right? What's your favorite scary movie? My favorite scary movie is Insidious. Actually, real quick, let's do that. What's your favorite scary movie, guys, before we do the channel member topics and skedaddle?
Mine is John Carpenter's The Thing.
All right, and then Singer, are you still there?
Yeah. Mine would be. What would be my favorite scary movie? Does Aliens count? Because I think it is a scary movie.
Yes.
Yeah, Alien. Yeah.
The first one or second one?
I'd say the first one, because that whole chest burster scene is just wild to me.
Nice. All right, Ramon.
Don't watch them.
Oh, really? Okay. I didn't know that your fear translated into not watching the movies too. Okay, interesting. I actually recently just watched Aliens, so the second Alien film. The movie's pretty great, guys. It's really good, actually.
One of my favorites.
Significantly better than Alien. Like, that shit had me snoozing. I was like, oh my god, dude, this is boring. So anyway, so yeah, Insidious is my favorite scary movie. I also think that Sinister is very, very good. I also really like The Conjuring, and I also really Conjuring 1 and 2, and I also really like Hereditary. Hereditary is fantastic. I would actually think I think that's Ari's best film, in my opinion. I think Midsummer, Okay, actually, that's not true. I think Midsummer is actually Midsummer, whatever, right? However
Somar.
you say it, thank you. I think that's actually Ari's best film, like full scope, right? But that
I will
film,
never watch that movie again.
yeah, like, I think it's his best film from every standpoint, but Hereditary is my favorite of his. So, um, yeah.
I feel a mild need to clarify something.
Go ahead, buddy.
The reason I avoid oh man, see, I'm buddy now. I already know what's coming on the back half. I don't particularly like watching things that stress me out, and horror stresses me out. Like, I mean, yeah, there's the fear factor thing, but like I've watched the first Aliens. I've watched all of the Aliens up to Prometheus. I stopped before that one. So I've seen all of those, but I just don't like. And then the other thing is, I don't like grotesque. I don't like things that I find disgusting. So that's why I don't like zombies. Like, I don't find zombies scary because, I mean, they're corpses walking around, right? But I just don't like the grotesque, and I don't like stuff that, like, I find stressful to watch. So that's why I have an aversion to horror.
No, I feel like that's fair. I actually didn't watch horror films for several years, and then I started watching them with my friend Elliot, my best friend. I'd go over to his house, and we'd hang out, lay in bed, and we would watch like all the scary. Like, he loves horror films. He loves scary movies. So we started watching like Paranormal Activity, and I was like, I don't want to watch this. He's like, no, we should just watch it. I was like, all right. So we watched it. And I was like, oh, okay. I like watching these films when I'm like with somebody. Like, I do not like watching scary films by myself. I get scared easily. I'm a little jumpy. I'm a little jumpy. But shout out to Corey with the big dono. Thank you, saying sorry, I'm dumbass late. Crazy time of the year. My recent scary movie is Girls Trip. All right. Thank you. I appreciate you, Corey. Thank you.
Now, I can do psychological horror is a different thing. Like something that, like, something where there's a cerebral aspect to it. I can get down with. But like, take the Saw movies for instance. I find those
Yeah,
offensive. I find those
yeah.
offensive. Like, it's
I
go ahead.
No, I can understand that for sure. I saw the first Saw and I was like, never again. I don't like Saw. I don't like gore. I don't like
Yeah.
excessive violence. I think it's disgusting. I don't like to see it. And this is saying someone like I've seen an autopsy in real life, right? So it's not like I'm super squeamish or anything. I just think it's nasty. I think it's gross, right? Like the Green Inferno, fuck you, Eli Roth, honestly speaking. Hostel, I can't stand that shit. I'm sorry. I know people love these films, but Terrifier, no thank you, dude. I don't like gore. I think it's nasty. I just think it's gross,
Do you like
Um,
Silence of the Lambs? Luca?
oh, yes.
Yes,
Sorry, I had to
Silence of
think
the
about
Lambs.
I'm sorry, I had to think about it for a second. Yes, I do like Silence of the Lambs. Yes.
Yeah, I think there's a big difference between scary movies and gore movies. Like I think I really started to recognize the difference when I was in college and I watched House of a Thousand Corpses, and I'm just like I'm watching it with a girl, and typically you this is before Netflix and chill. This was get a movie and what I don't know where to rhyme it, but look. You plan on watching the movie. At some point, you plan on having the movie watch you, and we watching it, man. And it's just like it killed the mood. Like it's just like it's disgusting, and it's like at no point am I just like, hey, they just turned that guy into a mermaid, and they're using this other guy as target practice as they throw knives at his body. What you trying? Like, no, there's just nothing. And I'm just like, I don't even like these kind of movies. And then she's looking at me like, so you chose that you wanted to see this? I'm like, I didn't know it was going to be like this. So
Like, so this is what you're into before sex? What's going on, man?
It didn't work out, and that was just and isn't that Rob Zombie's Productions?
Yeah, that was
like,
Rob Zombie's movie.
and so then I started paying attention to everything that he did, and it's just like when he did his remake of the Michael Myers, and I'm watching that, and I'm like, yo, I'm never watching anything this dude makes again. It's just like, why we got a sexual assault scene in the middle of this movie? Like, why we got like this really drawn out child murder going on? Like, you got issues,
Man, that
buddy.
sounds
Like,
crazy.
Yeah,
yo,
I don't see the appeal.
he's a sick bastard, is what he is. And I want my $6.99 back for that movie and that ruined night, okay? Because like I could have got something, and it did nothing turned out, man. It was not good, Rob.
Shout out
Thanks
to
a
Corey
lot.
with the dono saying, "Cause Slow-Mo said House of a Thousand Corpses." I love that movie. Appreciate you, my guy. Thank you, Slow-Mo. Yeah, no, I don't like gore, guys. It's just nasty. That's why I will never watch a Terrifier film. Like, the fact that those movies are doing so well, I'm like, damn, people really love this shit,
Kinda
man. I mean,
disturbing.
like there is like just an appeal for that stuff, you know? And I think that's perfectly fine. I think that there is an audience for everything. There are certain things that I will never agree with being in films personally, like again, child murder or assault. I'm not with it. I don't think films should have long drawn out sexual assault scenes either. Like what is the point of that, right? It's
It's
actually
also
why
like it's also traumatizing, like
Mhm.
the actors, like it's freaking
Yeah.
traumatizing,
Yeah.
man.
And
Like
it kind of
on both
triggers people
sides.
who've actually been through
Yep.
those things in real life. Like it's like you could cut away from the scene and then cut back after it happens, and we all get it.
Exactly.
We're adults that understand, to follow a story. We know what happened here. You didn't, and we know that's really bad, and we don't need to see it to have disdain for the assaulter in those movies. It's like you don't need to do a like what was the one? Is it Last House on the Left? Is that it?
Oh yeah. Oh, come on, man. Yeah.
I almost
Yeah.
turned the movie off, bro. I was just like, "Yo,
Yeah.
why?" Like, I'm just. I feel like directors that do that clearly need to be on the list, or they need to like talk to the people who they've dealt with on a romantic level and ask like, do you blink twice if you need help or something? Because like you're just like, what is wrong with you that you decide to have like a 5-minute sexual assault scene in your movie? Like it's
Yeah, that's just
unnecessary.
crazy.
If you feel that's necessary to motivate the audience to root for the murder of these people later on in the movie, you're just a bad director and a bad writer, because it shouldn't be necessary to do that.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I just or something where it's implied but not shown, It Follows. So in It Follows, there's a scene in which um this this woman's body is on the beach, right? And her
I
leg,
remember that,
yeah, her leg is like
in the
twisted.
opposite direction. Yeah.
Yeah, in the complete opposite direction, bone showing, her legs are spread, she's barely dressed. That's like a implied scene, especially because It Follows it's like a sexually transmitted ghost. You
Disease.
know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
You're passing it to everybody.
Good
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, so like stuff like that. I'm not a fan, man. I'm not a fan of this shit, man. It's listen, I just don't like that stuff. Another film that I think does a good job with it being implied and discussed is Mad Max Fury Road. Like you know what happens to those girls, but you never see it. And
Exactly.
yeah, that's
Exactly.
why I like that aspect
You
of it.
can't be lazy. You can't be a lazy writer and do that. It takes being more than lazy. Shock value, in my opinion, most of the time is lazy. So by them going the route that they did, you actually have to put some effort in.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely agree with that. Like I said, not my cup of tea, not my thing. I know everybody has their own flavors, and again, the reason why like films like Terrifier do so well is because, and they're on Saw like 10. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
there's definitely a market for
There's
that.
definitely an audience for it. Yep.
Yeah. I just personally I like psychological thrillers, psychological horror, and things involving like supernatural. I really like supernatural. Listen, get me with a ghost. Actually, you know what supernatural film I fucking turned off? I'ma tell y'all. The First Omen. All right. And spoiler
Oh,
alert
man.
for The First Omen. Okay. I was watching it and there's a birth scene. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching this woman. She's struggling. She's suffering. I'm just assuming it's a normal birth scene because giving birth is a horrific event, right? And the thing, like, she's okay. She had a demon hand sticking out of her vagina, okay? A fully formed adult demon hand. All right. I turned the film off. I haven't gone back since, guys. I have not gone back since. I was like, okay, like you got me. Like you definitely fucking traumatized me with this. I was like thinking about that shit for the entire night. I went over to my friend's house. I was like, I actually cannot watch this, man. I'm sorry. No, there's just no, okay. I normally don't turn shit off like that. Like I don't normally turn horror films off, all right? But I was like, no, absolutely fucking not, dude. And they got me with that shit. That's a good film though. It's a good film up to that point. Maybe I'll finish it one day. I don't know, you know. But yeah, paranormal and demonic movies are the best. Yeah, that shit was crazy, dude. I don't
I
know.
like old school horror movies where they use silence as a way to generate
Yeah.
fear and
Yeah.
generate tension and suspense. Like if you like someone goes into a house and you know there's a killer in there, but there's no music, nothing like that. It's just silence and just the creaking of the house, or was that the house, or was that the killer? Like right, Leaky, those create jump scares.
Psychological
And
horror. Yep.
yes, yeah, and it's like you can if you create the tension and build up the moment right, you don't need to rely on like real bad jump scares. Like you see the ones where like it's just like clearly the character should have, a normal person would have called out before, like essentially the character that the camera's looking at turns around and then they run into this other person who just wanted to be a dickhead and not say a word until like literally they're right behind them. It's just like, come on, that's not like how people act normally, but you did it
Oh,
to
I
get a jump scare,
mean,
a cheap scare.
I do that to my siblings. I'll be standing in the dark. And I did this to my brother a couple of weeks ago. I was standing in the dark downstairs and he noticed me and he was like, if you do that shit one more fucking time, dude, I'm gonna beat your
That's one, that's funny, but two, that's different because you're doing it on purpose. There's a reason for you doing that. You're trying to scare them. In the movies I'm talking about, you'll see people do that and it was just like, oh, I just wanted to know if you wanted to watch a movie. And it's just like, you weren't attempting to scare me, but then you literally waited until I turned around to go, hey, like it's just like it's goofy, it's silly, it's stupid. I like it when there's like a lot more tension where it's just yeah, The Grudge is great. I like The Grudge.
Grudge is great. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, let's do these channel member topics and skedaddle. Shout out to Amar bin Israel saying October is looking to be a very stacked month with plenty of games from different genres. Which games are y'all buying or thinking of buying, if any? I might pick up that Metaphor ReFantazio. All right, I might pick it up. I don't know. I might get it. Okay, but I'm definitely. Well, I'm sorry. I'm depending on what my trusted people who I know are Dragon Age fans and actually like know what the fuck they're talking about. Depending on what they say, I will be like, all right, I'm a because I plan on picking up Dragon Age the Veilguard, but after it comes out, like the day of, I'm not pre-ordering. I don't trust BioWare enough to pre-order. Okay, so I'm gonna wait, make sure the game is actually running well, and people are like, okay, the story's good. I'm like, all right, bet. I'll be right there. So those are the 2 games. What about you guys?
This month, I did pick up Medal 4 yesterday. I'm looking forward to Black Ops 6. Looking forward to Dragon Age: The Veilguard as well. And I feel like there's another game coming out this month that I planned on picking up, or maybe eventually getting. And give me a second, I'll be able to find it. I was looking at the stuff coming out this month. Well, damn, that's probably it. Think about it. Until Dawn already got and played, streamed that last weekend. So yeah, I think that's it for me.
Alrighty, Ramon.
For me, well, it's already done.
Ooh,
Europa.
I got it. Sorry. Life is Strange Double Exposure. I'm kind of looking at. Just kind of looking at it. Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. I'd had my eye on it for like, the whole year since it was announced. A really beautiful indie called Europa, and the developer, I can't remember what AAA studio he was from, but he has it pinned on his Twitter. Where basically he quit that job to finish Europa, so he took, it was a big leap of faith, and I have a big appreciation for that. But then, even that aside, it looks absolutely beautiful. Like the visuals are almost kind of like watercolors. It's a beautiful looking game. There's no combat. It's all exploration. It's all what do you call it? Traversal, exploration, puzzles. Like it's a beautiful game. So that's my October one. But as far as like, the whole Halloween mood thing, I have Little Nightmares 1 and 2 that I grabbed during the sale over the summer. So those will be my Halloween things. And those are on the heels of Returnal that I just finished. Art. But yep, that's my October.
Returnal's great. Yeah.
Oh my God, man. I actually recorded my fight with Ophion this afternoon.
Yeah, that's great. Whew, I'm sure you guys remember how that game triggered me, but great overall. I beat
The
it.
infamous
and that's what matters.
Biome 3.
Biome
That
3.
was hilarious.
Shit was
He used to work for Blizzard.
He
used to work for
okay.
Blizzard.
I thought it was, but I
Yeah.
wasn't sure. Okay.
What's up, True Bleed?
He worked on Overwatch and Diablo
Oh, okay.
for Blizzard. Yeah.
I really hope
Nice.
this it takes off for him, because it's a beautiful looking game, and like he really took a leap of faith to put a small team together to make this. So I really hope it works out.
Alrighty. Singer, I know Metaphor. Are there any other titles you're looking forward to?
Metaphor in October. Metaphor, Dragon Age, Call of Duty. Because it'll be my first Call of Duty since Black Ops 3. So it's been a while. But they sold me with this one, so I'm back in. That's
Sweet,
my
man.
October. Those 3 games. Although Dragon Age I'll have to play later because I won't have the time.
Valid. And shout out to my boy Corey saying, thank you, Imar bin Israel. Appreciate you, my guy. Both Imar and Corey are in the chat, so appreciate you guys saying, are y'all dressing up for Halloween? What was your personal goat costume? My personal goat costume is I was a kid and I dressed up as Boba Fett. And that was back when Star Wars was good. So yeah, I distinctly remember that. I'm thinking about dressing up for Halloween for work, and I'm thinking about dressing up as a Demon Slayer character. Super generic, I know, but also a very easy costume. So, what about you guys?
Very easy.
My wife likes to dress up, so I mean, if she thinks something up, then we'll dress up. Otherwise, no.
My favorite one of all time when I was a kid was probably, I don't know, I did a Darth Maul one at one point. That's actually pretty cool, getting your face painted and stuff. But like now, I wouldn't dress up. Like, no. No, I wouldn't.
Oh, I forgot to do a favorite. My favorite would probably be the Crow. I did the
Nice.
face paint and everything. The Crow way back, man, like 20 something years ago. Yeah, it was. I really had fun with that.
Yeah, I never really dressed up too much for Halloween. When I would do it, it would be kind of like a cheeky, matter of fact, kind of like lazy way to go about it. Like when I was in college, I would have a T-shirt saying "Token Black Guy," and I'd be hanging around a bunch of
Oh my
white
god,
people
you're
on
so
Halloween.
funny. Wow.
Yeah, I know. I just wasn't going to put too much effort into it. So
Is it because scary movies scare you?
no, scary movies don't scare me. Scary
Oh,
games
scary
though.
games? Okay,
Yes, I'm not. I don't rock with them like that.
that's true. Alrighty. That's fucked up, Iman. All right, I will catch you guys for another one. Thank you so much for coming on, Iman.
No, I can.
Because of the slavery thing. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Oh man, that's so good. That's so good.
Y'all laughing a little bit too hard. Relax.
No, because it's hilarious. You sit on that. I was thinking loves games with slavery in them. It's good.
Yeah, I'm sure there's somewhere over there where you can get some chains made.
Oh man, come on.
Get some, put some stockings on, you know.
Stock. Okay. So Skeeter, go ahead with your outro.
Walk around with a broken compass. Go ahead.
Because he definitely wasn't discovering shit. Let me tell you that. But,
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You go show
I'm
up.
in
I discovered
India.
this land when I'm in India
You're-
with all these people.
It's
already.
definitely not India, buddy.
Oh man, dumb bastard.
but yes, outro singer.
But yeah, great show, great panel. Lovely to have Ramon on.
Thank you, sir.
What I will do for Halloween is dress up as Aloy and then just walk around with no personality. But yeah, you
Very
know.
easy, yeah.
And I'll dress up as you walking around playing games nobody else plays.
That's actually not true. He plays a lot of titles that are niche, yes, but they do have a fan base. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and there's plenty of people who like Horizon and Aloy, but he always dunks on it. So,
And that's
Well,
okay.
I do it because you're here, and also because it's funny. Yes.
All right. Slow.
Great show as usual. Very hilarious. I had a good time. Play Slay the Princess. It's a nice little indie game. I played on stream on the DPS channel last night. It was a lot of fun. Appreciate everybody that came through. Apparently it's got like a cult following because I was streaming and all these people showed up that had like I guess they just watched people play the game and even they were like, yo, I've never even seen some of this stuff before. So it's really like has got a lot of different like choice based decisions in it that can take the game in wildly different directions. So it was good fun. But yeah, check that out if you have the time, and hope you guys enjoy your weekend.
All righty. Ramon, you did your outro, right, or no?
no, not yet. No.
Go ahead.
Well, first off, thanks for having me as always. Always a pleasure. Singer, thanks for being an awesome panel member as well. Thanks, Slow Mo, for being an awesome panel member as well.
I thought you were gonna say. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And Luca, thank you for being the awesome host. I got to say the best for last, man. I'm not gonna put you first.
Okay, I know that's fucking right.
And thank you to the chat. And it is always a pleasure. And enjoy your games. And yep.
All righty. Okay, guys. I'll see you next week. Is there anything happening? No. I'll see you guys next week. Peace. Slow-mo, the Hush episode for